Hello, mate. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Harvey.
Hey, Harvey. All right, mate. Oh.
Good afternoon. Just to go over the format, sorry, Ange will do the conference first, followed by Matt O'Reilly. Just to check, do we require translation for anyone? No? Okay, Harvey, day off for the moment. Okay.
Well done, Harvey.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All those nerves for now. Thank you.
Ronnie, would you like to start? Thank you.
And just a squad update first of all, if you could, please.
Yeah, obviously on the weekend, Carl Starfelt, hurt his knee, and we haven't had an exact diagnosis, but it's nothing too serious. But probably keep him out for a couple of weeks. And Kyogo, obviously his shoulder, trained this morning, looked okay. So he's available. I made a decision whether he'll play or not, but in terms of him training and doing everything at training, he was fine.
Now, just on the eve of this big match, just give us your thoughts on coming up against the holders and everything, the emotions that bring with it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Excited by it. I mean, it's a reward for a fantastic season last year. That everyone at this football club put in, and the reward is you get to play in this tournament and test yourself against the best. And so yeah, it's exciting. It's where we want to be, and it's where we want to compete. Speaking
to Jota after the game at this Saturday, he was saying that this could be a game that the players would record and maybe show their kids in 15 years' time. Is that the sort of emotion that you want to convey to those players, to really embrace the moment and enjoy it? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like I said, it's where you want to be. Any footballer, any sports person, you want to test yourself at the highest possible level. And in terms of club football, this is the highest possible level. And so I'm sure for the boys, all of them, it'll be an experience that they're looking forward to, and an experience they want to make memorable. But you still got to compete in it. It's not a game where you kind of dismiss the fact that you've got to be competitive in it to make it a really good memory.
And you've obviously managed all across the world, managed the World Cup against some of the best teams. So what does it mean to you personally to manage against the best teams now, in Celtic colours? Yeah, I guess
Similar to the players, as you said, I've been pretty fortunate. I've coached at World Cups, Confeds Cups, Asian Champions League, Europa last year. So these are the things that you want to experience as a football manager, and I've been really fortunate that I've had some great experiences, and this will be another one. And like I said, you want to test yourself against the best, but I think what's more important is that this football club gets an opportunity to play in a tournament where we want to be. We want to be a consistent performer in, and that's what this whole sort of objective is for us. Sorry.
How confident are you? How confident are the team that you can win tomorrow night, given the brilliant form you've been in so far this season?
It's not about being confident to win. All we can do is control our performance. Every game we play, we just try and play the game a certain way and be the best we can be. And that's what we've done in every game so far. That's what we did last year, and that's what we'll try and do tomorrow night. We'll just try and play our football, be the best team we can be, and the end result is often a consequence of good performance, strong performance. So there's no point us thinking about winning or losing or any other result without thinking about, well, first thing we want to do is make sure we perform, because we know we're playing against a top football team with some fantastic players, with a brilliant manager, and what we want to do is go out there and be offer the best of ourselves to measure up against that.
And you talk about obviously testing yourself against the best. Is it also exciting for you and the players to be almost bringing your brand of football to the the Champions League? Is that something that gives it an extra kind of intrigue?
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I mean when I say test ourselves. Like, there's no point playing football a certain way, and then when you get the opportunity to measure it against the very best, you shy away from it, and you kind of go, well, you know what, let's just try and limit sort of any sort of damage tomorrow night. Then that's not really a test, because you don't know. Because you could go out there tomorrow night and you could limit the damage and you might get a win playing a different way, but have you really tested yourself? I don't think you have. So when I say test ourselves, that's what I mean. I mean, we go out there tomorrow night being the football team we have been to this point, and you know, you measure, then you've got a real measure of where you're at. And if we're short of where we need to be, then we go back, dust ourselves off and work at it again, get a little bit closer next time. But I've always taken these games, anytime I've been involved, as an opportunity to really, you know, as I said, stamp your own sort of identity on a game and see where it takes you.
Can that help the players then? And you're not going to change your approach. Some teams would do, will do. They look at a single-mindedness. They know exactly how to play. Does that help going into a game for them as well?
Look, I don't know. I think it's why we've been so consistent, because the players kind of have a clear understanding of what we need to do every week, you know, irrespective of the opponent. So if I, you know, and there are certainly different approaches you can take. I've said that a million times. It's not just about, you know, there's a million ways you can be successful in a game of football. And if we changed our tactics every week and we were that kind of team and we were successful, then the players would be expecting that tomorrow night. But they understand what, you know, their roles are within our team, how we're going to play. We do that every week, and we do that for a reason, and that's because we want to win games of football and be successful. And you know, if I walked in there tomorrow and said, look, we're going to change our approach, I think it's not just tomorrow night that we kind of miss an opportunity, but further down the track, I think there'll be doubts in their minds about, well, why are we actually doing this? I keep saying that the reason we play this football is to win. That's it. There's no other reason for it. I love that it's exciting. I love that our supporters love it. I think that's important, but if it wasn't successful, I wouldn't do it.
Does sticking with that style, though, bring a risk the more you go up the food chain?
Well, if there's a system that doesn't give you risk, I'd love to hear it, you know. If there's something that you can guarantee me tomorrow night that if I play this way, you're guaranteed to minimise risk, then it doesn't exist. Any system you play, any approach you take, there's inherent risk. But there's also sometimes the greater the risk, the greater the opportunity, because you know, we're trying to do things a little bit differently. We don't want to be like every other team, and you know, with that, there's always that possibility that you'll stumble. That's fine. Stumbled in the past. Important thing is you just dust yourself off and keep going.
In adapting your style to playing in Europe, what have you learnt from the games last year? Because there were one or two sore ones along the way, but what did you see in terms of progress to convince you can make this way work on this level?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends how you view. I mean, I know people sort of reflect on our European performances last year, you know, as some sort of abject failure, but we won 3 group games, you know, in a very hard group. Sure, we got spanked once here by Bayer Leverkusen because they were a great side, but we still gave a good account of ourselves, and the 2 we lost away were decent games. So I guess, you know, people kind of go to the end point because we lost to Bodo Glimt, but, you know, our priorities were pretty clear what we were going to try and achieve at that point of the season. That was the league. So it's not that I was dismissive of it. So there was nothing that we did last year that surprised me. We weren't ready for it, absolutely. You know, the teams we were up against were very strong teams, but again, we went out there and measured ourselves. And that first night when we lost 4-0 was a good test for us. We saw where we came up short. And the next time we were out there, we got a little bit closer, and then we got a little bit closer again. And like I said, we ended up winning 3 games. If we win 3 group games in the Champions League, I don't think people will be saying it's been a poor performance, yeah. So I think we learned a lot out of last year, and I think it helped us in the league because I think the players got real belief that even against the very best, while, you know, we didn't win all the games we did, we challenged every strong team we played against, and that gives players confidence that if we get it right, then we can trouble anyone.
Just finally, on a similar vein, are you excited, intrigued at how your players then do on this stage? Are you looking forward to just seeing, look, what you've created, how it fares on this stage now?
I don't know if excited or intrigued. I just, you know, I just want the players to go out there and be the best version of themselves as they have been. I mean, they've got an opportunity, like I said, to play in an unbelievable tournament against quality opposition, and you know, want to go out there and just enjoy yourself and be yourself, you know, and that's what we tried to do. We've set up, you know, the way we play our football, they enjoy because A, it's successful. We're getting returns on it, but also they love the fact that, you know, they can go out there and express themselves. And that's what I said. I don't want that 90 minutes tomorrow to just whiz by and they haven't really had it, you know, gone out there and been the best they can be. So my job is to get them ready for that. And then after that, it's up to them to take that opportunity.
And where does this rank in the biggest games that you've managed in your career thus far? Is it the biggest?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, they're all big, you know, and I know it's not me being dismissive of it, but as I said, I've built a career on winning things. I love winning things. I love winning games of football. I love winning trophies. I love being part of, you know, groups that do that. And every sort of challenge I've had along the way, I've seen as an opportunity to do that. So, you know, it's not like, I guess, from my point, as a point of reference, it's not like I look back on my career and I see, you know, all these games that I've been fortunate to be involved with as some sort of achievement. The achievement comes after, you know. You want to, like I said, from my perspective, it's about making an impact. It's about being successful. It's about winning things, winning games of football, and that's where you get, you know, the significance of it more. But I'm lucky in the respect that, you know, I represent a football club that's given me this platform to participate in you know, the best club, you know, competition in the world. So from that perspective, I'm just like the players. I want to make the most of it.
And realistically, for this group, what is the target then to get out of this group?
The target is to be the best we can be, and let's see where that takes us. You know, if we're the best we can be, I'm happy to accept what comes before us.
Chris,
there's an obvious feel-good factor around the place given the domestic results. That seems to be lending itself to a growing expectation going into tomorrow night. Is that an expectation that sits okay with you, or does that need to be tempered a little bit? Where do you think the expectation should be going into tomorrow night?
So you want me to burst people's bubbles? You want me to bring it down into this whole experience? No, I'm glad our supporters are buzzing about it. I've got no problem with that. I think that's what we love about the game, you know. Yeah, of course, you know, my job is to stay even-tempered through it, right? So in terms of my expectations and you know, what I'm sort of communicating to the players for us as a group is what we need to do to keep progressing, that's a different story. But, you know, I want our supporters dreaming of big games and big wins and winning things. I mean, that's the role of us as a football club, you know. I'm sure they get enough of their bubble burst in their normal lives on a daily basis. It doesn't need me to bring them down and tell them, look, you know, don't come here too excited tomorrow because it might not go well. You know, I don't think that's my role. My role is to make sure they come bouncing in and hopefully we send them bouncing out.
I think Ronnie touched on it a little bit earlier on, but in terms of being able to enjoy it, I know you're obviously focused, the players are so focused as well, but can you really enjoy this occasion, or is that one again for the fans?
No, you know, I think you do enjoy it if you take in the whole experience, because you know, there's no doubt there'll be moments tomorrow night where we've got an opportunity to do something, and the players, I think, will thrive in that space, and it depends what you mean by enjoyment. You know, it's if you're expecting it to be an easy night where you're running around with a smile on your face, no, it's going to be hard. You know, you're going to have to work your backside off and be challenged in every single way, but there's an enjoyment in that. You know, that's why elite sportsmen do what they do. They love the struggle. You know, they love the challenge of, that's where the enjoyment comes, and then you hopefully make a good memory with, you know, at the end of it saying, well, you know, we had a red hot go today and we got something out of it. So I think there still is enjoyment. I think if they don't enjoy it, then I think they're missing an opportunity, but it's not going to be easy. That's very plain and clear, and we all understand that.
Just finally from me, I think your opposite number tomorrow night identified Celtic as potentially their toughest opponents in this group. That must be quite nice to hear.
Well, hopefully he's saying it after the game, mate. That's more important, you know, again, before the game. But, you know, I got a great sort of admiration and respect for him because, you know, he's been put in charge of some of the biggest football clubs in the world, you know, and he's been successful wherever he's been. And, you know, knowing that just how challenging this job is, the fact that he's been given that responsibility, you know, it's some of the biggest clubs in the world and has brought success. to me, that's like I said, I've got a great admiration and respect for everything that Carlo's done.
It's Chris.
Hi, Ange. It's been a whirlwind 10 days for the club since the draw has been made. At what point did you afford yourself some time to think about the magnitude of the task of this first game and putting your wits against one of the best team in the world?
Yeah, it was probably, it's almost kick off on Saturday, 12:30, game finished 2:30, about 3 p.m. I reckon I started thinking about it, because as you said, since the draw, I was really conscious of the fact we had 3 games before that. We had Dundee United away, we had Ross County in the Cup, and obviously the derby on Saturday. And I thought the worst thing for us is to be looking ahead to this game and not go into it in good form, or sort of haven't taken our eye off the ball and maybe slipped up in a result or two, because then you're going into it with a whole different mindset. So, I made sure the players, it's not that, we kind of banished the word Champions League from the place, but, we really had to focus on what's the next challenge, what's the next game. And, I think you see with our performances in the 3 games since the draw, and the results obviously have been great, but our performances got stronger and stronger, because I think, everyone's understood that, the next step is the next important one. And obviously after Derby on Saturday, then we could turn our focus, straight onto this game, and you sense it. I mean, the boys come out of training, and the Champions League balls are there, so they know it's a different competition and a different feeling. And from then on, then that's when you really think about it.
And you've spoken often of the late nights where yourself and your father sat and watched these big European games from halfway across the world. You're now a little over 24 hours away from playing the biggest team in the world on potentially the biggest stage. I know the focus tomorrow night will be all about the players and what they do, but will you take a moment pre-match to reflect? And also, what would your dad think of all of this?
Yeah. I mean, I do. I try to. Whether it's just 30 seconds of just making sure that I appreciate where I am, and you think about the people that got you to that space. And like I said, obviously my father isn't around anymore, but he was a big sort of pillar in my life in terms of putting me in this place where I am right now. But I've got family now, loved ones and friends who some of them will be in Australia, literally getting up in the middle of the night to watch it, and you kind of reflect on it, because it's been a hell of a journey. I've come from the other side of the world, and I'm sitting here right now. So you do reflect on that, and you kind of hope that they take pride in it. I'm sure they do, and feel part of it. Because again, like any other person, I guess I'm the end product of a lot of influences and a hell of a lot of love and support, and you kind of want those people to share in whatever happens. You want to shield them from the bad stuff, but the good stuff you want to share it with them.
And in recent weeks, the team have been so clinical in the final third. How encouraging is that ahead of a game like tomorrow, where chances might be fewer and further between? Yeah, it's important. Look, it's fair to say that we're not going to get probably as many chances as we had recently, and we have to be clinical, and I think we've shown that side of the game again. I think a lot of the commentary around us is the way we play our football, but that doesn't mean we kind of just do things one way. I mean, we've dominated possession in every game this year, but we didn't dominate possession on Saturday. But it didn't make us any less dominant in terms of the performance and the goals we scored. So, within that context, that's that's the area we're working really hard on, that final third, because I think the higher levels you go up, as you say, the chances become fewer and more challenging, and it's the same at the other end. You've got to try and limit the opposition chances. So that's been a real focus for us this year, of what happens in both boxes and how we can become more efficient, because that's in the rarefied air of playing against the best. That's where games get decided, and I think tomorrow night that'll be really important, both from an attacking perspective and a defensive perspective.
I know you're a very humble guy, Ange, but just on a personal level, I think this will make you the first Australian manager in group stage, Champions League group stage history. How does that make you feel, that you keep setting these accomplishments and stuff like it? How does it give you a great sense of pride?
Yeah, it does. Like I said, I mean, because that's part of the story as well, I guess. Because I grew up in Australia, and you kind of, and I know, the most of Australians who love football will be up watching the game, and I'm hoping they feel part of it. They're part of the journey as well. So you do take pride in it, and but you know, again, I'm really conscious that, you know, these kind of things become more sort of important. Hopefully, when I'm, you know, lying on a lounge chair on a Greek beach somewhere in 20 years' time. Right now, my biggest responsibility is to this football club. That's who I represent, beyond anyone else. I represent this football club, its supporters, and I just want to make sure that when we go out there tomorrow night, and every time we go out there, we do them proud, and we put on a performance that, like I said, gives them some joy and some great memories. That's where my greatest responsibility lies, and that's where my focus is.
And one man you'll know very well since arriving at Celtic is John Clark, who's described the atmosphere out there as having an aura about it and a magic. How big a part do the Celtic support have to play tomorrow night? We saw the collective Saturday with the ball boys and whatnot. How big a part do we have to play?
Yeah, massively. You know, yeah, as you said, you know, we've got John down in training ground every day, and he's you know, he tells us about, you know, the special feeling, and you know, obviously Callum and James are probably two players who have felt that here, but they're the only two. So for the rest, it'll be a little bit of a new experience. But you know, anyone you talk to, and you just have to listen to how opposition teams and players and managers talk about their experiences after playing a Champions League game here. So, you know, we've got Champions League support. We just got to become a Champions League team. That's our responsibility as players, and hopefully we can begin that process tomorrow night.
Okay. Anyone else? No. Okay.
This one. No,
You done?
That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Start when you're ready, Mark.
Matt, big game on the horizon. It couldn't get much bigger against the defending champions. Just if you could recall where you were watching the Champions League final last season, your thoughts about Real Madrid as a side.
Yeah, obviously, arguably the biggest club in the world. So, as someone like myself who's always dreamt of playing in a competition of this stature, it's a dream come true in that sense. I can't remember where I was when I watched it, to be honest. But no, just in terms of the game, it's a game I'm really excited to be involved in. It's a game I've always dreamt of playing in, like I said. And yeah, just really looking forward to it.
The manager's just spoken to us in great detail about how he wants you to stick to the style that's got you to where you are, how you have to sort of believe in what you're doing. How much are the players on board with that, knowing that the manager is so committed to this attacking style of football?
Yeah, we don't change the way we play, regardless of the opposition. We might have to tweak slight little things in terms of the amount we press, for example, just because of the quality of opposition naturally. But in general, the way we go about it is going to be the same. Every day in training is the same process. We approach Ross County away as the same way as we do as this game, so everyone's fully focused. Yeah.
Does it take a special kind of belief, of bravery, to try and do what you do against the best team there is?
I think so, yeah, I think so. I think it takes bravery, regardless of who you play against, to be honest. You know, there's always going to be slight scares at times just because we take risks quite often. But yeah, against this kind of opposition, we have to be at our very best. We know that. So yeah.
Is this the kind of game, Matt, the kind of fixture that you would have wanted to kick off the Champions League campaign?
Yeah, I think so. I know Celtic fans especially, this is the one they've wanted for years, and now we've got that fixture, so hopefully we can put on a good show for them. Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't really mind who we played against. I think just being able to test ourselves against the best players in the world is just a privilege, in my opinion. So yeah, we're just going to go out there and play with no fear. That's all we can do.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that they are arguably the best side in the world. What should the expectation be, do you think?
From our point of view, to win the game. It's the only... Well, I don't think just that. I think it's to impose our football on the game. You know, we're not just going to go into it and try and get a result. In the cliche sense, we're going to try and impose the way we play on the game. And yeah, hopefully that gets us the success at the end of it. if it doesn't, it doesn't. But we're not going to finish that 90 minutes of football not playing the way we wanted to play.
Mark mentioned the word bravery. I'm wondering if this is a game that the players can enjoy, given the expectation.
Yeah, if you can't enjoy this, then I don't think you can enjoy many games. No, I'm looking forward to it. I know everyone else is as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a good night.
Matt, you're talking there, the aim is to win, but as a group of players, we hear that all the time, that we believe we can win this game. You're playing the Champions League holders. Do you, as a group of players, really believe you can win this one?
Yeah, we spoke about it today at lunch. If you don't believe you can win the game, what's the point, really, you know? We go into every single game believing we can win, regardless of opposition, regardless of the magnitude of the game, you know, from an external point of view. So, no, we feel good, and I'm sure everyone's excited. Yeah.
You're talking about feeling good. The team have started the season in excellent form. Do you think this is the best place the team have been in since you arrived? Obviously, it's been so successful since you arrived, but do you think the team are in the best place? And you as well, form been good, great assist at the weekend as well. Do you think you're in the best place?
Yeah, I think it's probably the best I felt, yeah. Physically, especially. Last season I obviously came in January, so I was on the back of quite a lot of games already. This time I had the chance to get a full pre-season and really get going from that perspective. So, yeah, I feel good. And team-wise, I think it's just been a constant learning and improvement process. You know, I think we're in a really good place. However, I think by the end of the season we're going to be a much better team than we are now.
I think it's really just James and Callum who've experienced a Champions League night here. What have they said to you about what to expect when, you know, this place is full?
Yeah, I spoke to a few of the staff about that. I think they just said the atmosphere is going to be electric naturally. It's electric every week, to be honest. But so, no, really looking forward to it. Obviously, the fact that it's a night game just makes it a little bit more special. So yeah, in terms of atmosphere, I think it's going to be bouncing. There's
been a lot of talk about Celtic playing their own football. Looking at the Champions League as a whole, how much of it is about not just making it to the Champions League, but being a competitive team in the Champions League and then going further, not just standing still?
Yeah, well, I'm not just here to take part. You know, we're here to, like I said, try and impose the way we play on the Champions League, on the best teams, and I think we've got the ability to do that. You know, we're not going to finish that game with any regrets. We're going to play with no fear, like I said, and see where it takes us.
You had friends and family asking for tickets and whatnot. How's your phone been for that?
I have, yeah. I've had a few people I haven't spoken to in a while trying to contact me again, but that's how it goes, isn't it? Yeah.
When you arrived here, obviously in January or the start of February, you were kind of thrown into a huge game against Rangers. Is that what you seem to take that in your stride? Is that what your mindset is ahead of tomorrow as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, all these years of academy football, now first team football, is just preparation for nights like this. You know, I understand that the game is big from the external view, and like the magnitude of it is really big, but when you're on the pitch you don't really think about that too much. You know, you play your game. So no, I feel prepared, and I think everyone else is as well.
Is it games like this that justifies your decision to come to Celtic as opposed to staying in England?
Yeah, I think so. I think not just that, I just think the club in general. I mean, this is just a bonus, you know. The fact I get to play in front of 60,000 fans every week who are pretty crazy I find that quite cool. So yeah, it wasn't just because of this, but obviously the fact that we had a good chance of getting into the Champions League this season, that was definitely an influence, yeah.
We had a word from Ange saying that Kyogo was back training this morning after picking up an injury at the weekend. How did he train? Does he seem sharp, ready to play?
He looks good. He looks like Kyogo, so that's always a positive. No, I think he's fine. I spoke with him today. He said he felt good, so hopefully all's well tomorrow.
Matt, I'm sure you'll always be respectful of your time at Fulham and at MK Dons, but you know, this time 12 months ago you weren't at a club of this size, and now you find yourself on the eve of a game against potentially the biggest club in the world and on the biggest stage. Has it caught even maybe yourself by surprise that you've got to this level so quickly in your young career?
Yeah, I guess when I really think about it, probably. I haven't really had that much time to sit back and reflect on it, just because there's been non-stop games. But yeah, obviously if I was where I was a year ago and picture this, I probably couldn't. But it's a strange game. It can change very quickly. You know, one move or one change of circumstances can change everything. Yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to get a little bit of luck on the way as well, and yeah, just really grateful to be here.
Over the years, the players that have played here have always commented on the influence that the fans have got on a big European night. I'm sure tomorrow night's not going to be any different. what would your message be to the fans tomorrow, considering we maybe not have as much time on the ball as what we've had so far this season?
Yeah, I think they just got to do what they always do. You know, the louder they are, the easier it is for us to impose ourselves on the game. You know, I think that was evident against Rangers at the weekend. When the crowd really got going, momentum can shift. You know, that's the positive of and the advantage of playing at home. So if they can do that tomorrow again, I think we'll be in a good place.
Matt, from a supporter's perspective, it looks like the manager has built a great culture at the club, and it's brought us back to the Champions League level. As a player, how would you describe the culture at the club just now?
Yeah, I think that's probably our biggest strength, to be honest, as players and as a team. People don't see what goes on inside the training ground as much as they probably like to, but I can say that everyone gets on really well, which is quite unique. You know, I could be sitting at lunch with a group of players one day and the next day will be completely different, whereas in my previous experiences there's a lot of time been certain cliques and people that you hang out with. Here everyone genuinely gets on. We've got like no bad eggs in the team, in my opinion, and I think that transfers onto the pitch. You can see how we celebrate together as a team, how if one person scores like a great goal, everyone's just happy for them. There's not so much ego. Yeah, and I think that puts us in a really good place.
Matt, it's not every week you get the chance to share the park with players like Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, etc. How do you mentally prepare yourself for that sort of challenge? How excited are you to test yourself in the middle of the park with guys like that?
Yeah, I think that's my approach. It's more of a test of where I'm at. I'm more looking forward to it than anything. Obviously, these guys I've watched when I was growing up, and things I've watched from them I've added to my game in a sense. So yeah, just excited to see where me and the boys stand against them. I know that they're quality players, but once we're on the pitch, to me they're just another footballer. You know, we're Celtic and they're Real Madrid, but just 11 human beings versus another 11 human beings, in my opinion.
Matt, last week against Ross County was our first midweek game of the season. Does it suit the group to have that Tuesday, Wednesday into the weekend games? Do you thrive off lots of games coming thick and fast?
I think so, yeah. I think with the depth of our squad, it helps, you know, everyone get minutes as well, because when it's just Saturday to Saturday games, some people may not play as much. So from a fitness perspective, it allows everyone to stay sharp, allows us to use the rotation in the squad, which is important, so everyone's sharp when called upon. So yeah, I think it's a positive.
Is that us?
Nice one. Cheers, guys.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Excuse me.